All right. DGP 70, Arsenal 2, Liverpool 2. Steven, my co-host. Happy Sunday, dude. How you feeling?
Howdy. Happy Sunday. We're hitting you on a Sunday night here in the district. I'm doing all right, man. Tough result today. I'm going to throw it back to you. How do you feel?
I've had a decent day. I'm out here in the West Coast, actually, so I'm a little 3 hours behind you. The game was at 9:30 in the morning, so had breakfast with the family, watched the match. Manchester City took the first spot after this weekend, so they've continued, man. 23 points. We are 5 points behind them in third. Liverpool are just 1 point behind them in second, but Liverpool are a big 4 points ahead of us. But it could have been a lot worse, I think, because going into it, I saw the lineup. I saw TP5 out there at right back, something I was pretty sure I wasn't going to see a whole lot of this season, but here it is. And ultimately, I think 2-2 will take the point. I would have wanted more, but we'll take the point.
Yeah, today's one of those days. You mentioned the Brighton, City, and this one. These are all three games are ones that feel like losses. Like we dropped the points. We dropped 2 points today, whereas Liverpool feel like they gained that point, right? And I think all three of those games, that's how those teams came out of it. And in all three of those, that's how we came out of it, was that we dropped. The lineup, I actually like the lineup, man. I did think Partey against Luis Diaz, yikes, he might get cooked today. Did not, and we'll have to get to Partey. But the rest of the lineup, I thought it was going to be a much different game plan from us. Rice, Marino in the center mid, Saka's back, and then you had Trossard, Kai, like Timber at left back. Huge inclusion. I thought we were going to be sitting off of him, kind of trying to play the counter game with Marino and Rice there. But I actually really liked the lineup. He made some changes that didn't happen later in the game, and of course we got to get to that. But initially for the lineup, like I appreciated it. I thought the pieces we had available, this was a good lineup.
It was, and I think it was the first time that TP5 in that right back role was like playing right back. He didn't provide the overlap, but I think a lot of time he starts out at the right back, but we see him be in the middle, right? Not so much today. Defensively, he was very much committed to shutting down Diaz, and he was putting in some nice tackles. I know going into the game, your feeling was that it was going to be an ugly game, but it started out with fireworks, dude. Bukayo Saka, man. Bukayo Saka, what a beautiful run. What a great pass from Benny Blanco. And the finish, I mean, that was amazing. I was off my seat, bro. I was so hyped.
That was tight. Huge goal. I mean, that's a big player, big moments. That's someone that wasn't in the Bournemouth game. Like he showed up for the big one though, and he came up with, I mean, that was excellent. Andy Robertson, I mean, put him down, right? Already had him spinning when Ben White played that ball. Like the way Robinson is, he is so concerned about Saka, the way he had his hips turned. Like he was cooked at that point. Like it was basically had him dead to rights at that point, put it through his legs, and the finish, the near post smash. Like that's what you want to see, right? That was emphatic.
And the celebration of just like, one, I'm like that. Two, I'm back. And that was nice, dude. I think one of my key takeaways from the beginning was, wow, arrested Bukayo Saka is pretty good, man. He's a pretty good player.
Yeah, lethal. And going back to Partey at right back, and you're right, didn't do the overlapping, didn't come inside a lot, which is kind of sitting behind Bukayo Saka. If we could have had Ben White at right back or Timber doing the overlap, that would have been, because he was going at Robertson and he was getting the best of him. Like, don't get it twisted at all. He was getting the best of that dude. But Nunez came back quite a few times, right? Van Dijk's obviously over there helping. So even McAllister, we saw him get a few fouls. They were double, triple teaming Saka, like eventually, right? 10, 15 minutes in. If we had someone that could get the overlap in, woo-wee, because he was cooking.
Yeah, dude. I mean, William Saliba obviously couldn't play this one because of the red card. But you're totally right. If we had our proper lineup, I mean, you think back to the City game, we didn't have Declan Rice. Am I right in saying that? And then we went down to 10.
Correct. Yep.
And in this one, it just feels like if we could just get a full force and a good referee, this team is really the best team in the league, dude. The game of the ugliness that you had mentioned, there was a little bit of it super early on. King Kai and Big Verge, that little exchange that they had, dude. I'm so shocked that he walked away without a caution from that.
I'm not very surprised. I mean, on one hand, you could say it's the Arsenal, like things like that. But on the other hand, to me, it's like it's just Virgil van Dijk. Like, you're not going to give him a card for that. Like, you're just not, like, he's not that kind of dude. I think he had the reputation he has. To me, like, when he does that, he initiated the contact too, which is the funny part. Not only did he initiate the contact and then Kai comes back at him, then he kicks out the 2 times. So it's kind of surprising from him, but I am not surprised in the result of nothing happening.
Yeah, I guess that's aura, as the youth say.
Yes, yes.
But dude, you're right though, man. I think Robertson was in trouble. He didn't want any of the smoke, dude. It was really nice to see. I mean, I think back to the years where it was the old Liverpool and they were challenging Manchester City. Robertson was such a big player for them, and he had such a presence. And even against Bukayo Saka in the past, he's done pretty well, but not today, dude. So we get that early goal, and then just like 10 minutes after that, they equalized, right? On that corner. King Kai is getting a lot of the blame for that near post flick, dude, especially from the media. It was interesting, man. What did you think of it?
Yeah, so I think what the take is that he lets Diaz get in front of him, right? He lets him get to the ball versus like attacking it. He doesn't track the run at all. He just lets him get around him. I don't know if I just think it's bad. I mean, I'm going to say it's just bad defending. Like, yeah, I think it is partially his fault. But even the flick that gets on, there's like 3-4 Arsenal players that are kind of there. It doesn't seem like, for some reason, no one's reacting to it. And Van Dijk, biggest man in the box, probably standing there getting a free header. There's something wrong with that. Kai got it wasn't last week. The Leicester game, he got the worst of that one cross too. Because I think it was on goal off that deflection. But yeah, I guess all around, that just wasn't a great setup. I was very surprised. The 1 corner, 1 goal. It's like, ouch, that hurts. This is what other teams feel like, huh?
Yeah, dude, it's back-to-back games we've gotten set-pieced, man. So, I mean, I give the praises to the set-piece coach for our goal scoring, but I don't know how much of it is down to us missing half of our back line, to be fair to him, to the players.
Yeah, I heard one of the announcers made the comment that it was, I guess it was Graham, that Saliba usually stands at the front post, and I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm sure Saliba would have been in the vicinity of Van Dijk, at least at the minimum. But, I mean, whatever, man. 1-1, I think we looked really well at that point. Like, we looked like we were doing really well. We were probably the better team. They equalized. Shout out to them. Then what is the response? The response from us was excellent. I think that first half, man, like, we looked the better team. I don't remember any real chances from Liverpool. They get the corner goal. Good on them. That's how you stay in games like this when you're getting probably outplayed. And you were. And we created quite a few chances. But I think the first half, man, that's the team you want to see, right? Like, from an Arsenal perspective, like, we are outplaying you. This was a very big game. But I guess, at halftime, things change in the second half, huh?
A little bit, yeah, but I guess before we get to that, in the first half, we have to talk about Mikel Merino's performance. I think right after we scored, there was a moment where he did his best Granit Xhaka impression. That was a scary moment, dude. I thought that was going to be the equalizer. Gets away with it. You're right. After they had scored the corner, like 2 minutes after that, we had a free kick that Declan Rice whipped in, and Mikel Merino again. It looked like he was going to score, dude, and he didn't. And at that moment, I was thinking, man, the fan base needs to stop overhyping this guy. 20 minutes into the game, I haven't seen enough to say it's got to be this guy in the middle, dude. But then he pulled through. Right before the first half ends, we get basically an identical situation to the one that he missed. This time he doesn't go with his feet, he used his head. He's known for his heading. So great finish, man. Nice to see his first goal in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah, that was a great finish, man. That's a great, I'm sure that coming off his head felt great. Like, that was a bullet. The VAR check, why did it take so long? That was crazy. We got to get an automated system, man. That's nuts. We're waiting 2 minutes to see if this thing's offside. We're talking like Euros, World Cup, even in Champions League. Like, it's just a snap your fingers and they know if you're offside or not. So we got to get that figured out. But Marino, I thought he looked great. The first, 15 minutes, maybe 20, I was in your boat. I was like, I don't know about him still. Like, the verdict's just not out. I haven't seen enough. After the full 90 today, like, I think I'm on board. Like, I really liked what I saw. Took a while to get into the game. I will say that it took him a little bit of time, but it seemed like he got comfortable. He's got tidy feet, got out of some tight spaces, is willing to play some balls. And I think him and Martinelli looked good together on the left. What was your take?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. He definitely grew into the game. There was one particular moment that I think gave him his confidence. There was a ball over the top where he had that nasty touch, dude, where he brought it out. It was like Bergkamp-esque, dude.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He did that. I was like, all right, let's keep playing him. I'm on board a little bit. That looked like it kind of got him into the game, reminded him of like what he's capable of. So it was good to see, man. And as the game wore on, I noticed him a lot, to be honest with you. So that's also encouraging. I noticed him at a lot of different places when we don't have the ball. He's very good at like coming back and making sure that we can get back in our shape, turning the transition back. He's very good at that. But there were a couple of moments where I think I actually also heard the crowd where he slowed us down in transition, dude. He spun out. So there's like little kinks, man,
Yeah, I think that's just one of those things where you got to get comfortable in the team. Like, he's probably just not there yet, 100% there yet. Worried if I do play this and we're not on the same page, I'm going to look like a fool. I don't want to lose the ball. And this is a very high standard game with Liverpool. Can't give the ball away, right? That's the worst thing that can happen on a transition team. Yeah, overall, I actually really rated his performance. I am now happy to see him in the lineup moving forward.
Yeah, a couple of instances to also mention about the first half. The first half I thought was a little bit more eventful than the second half. Maybe it's just because I was a lot more nervous watching the second half. But there was something that happened. We scored in the 44th minute, I think. But in around the 30th, Trossard, who I thought was playing the Odegaard role really well in the first half. He was really dropping in deep, connecting the dots. He had a flick over the top where King Kai was through, and then suddenly it ended up with Martinelli, and it looked like there was a huge tackle from Konate. I definitely saw Martinelli handball before he flicked it up to King Kai, who should put that volley on target. I'll say that on the pod. But what did you make of that tackle? I didn't really see good angles to know if it was a pen shout or not.
This is definitely one where you have to look at the angles. I think there's two different things to talk about. Konate, I'm going to say not a foul on Konate. He gets a piece of the ball, I believe. Haven't seen any great angles on it, but I believe he gets the ball, which is great. No foul on Konate. But in the same instance, if Konate's not there and Martinelli's running, Trent kicks, his leg wraps around Martinelli's waist and he like kicks him and he doesn't go anywhere near the ball. If that happens anywhere else in the box, that happens. The player then goes down, whether it's soft or not, it's a penalty. Like, you're kicking out at him for no reason. It's a foul. So I think there's two different things to talk about. I totally am with Konate winning the ball. No pen. I would be disappointed to see my defender get a penalty given for that. But what Trent did, I have seen penalties given for that. That's a very common occurrence. So I think it's two different things. That's just how I see it. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's all fair. Honestly, I think it's one of those bang situations where after I saw it all, I didn't really feel like we had a shout for pen. I didn't see the Trent touch that you're referencing. I'll have to go back and look it over. But the game is also high stakes. To your point of a Virgil van Dijk not getting a caution for the way he's behaving, maybe you're also not going to get a call like that in a high stake game like this. So I'll give them that. One of the things I really struggled with in the first half, dude, was Dirty Diaz not getting a single yellow card. I think he fouled Thomas Partey at least 4 times. He was in the back on every challenge, dude. He's just either emptying our defender's back or hitting him right in the spine, dude. I really don't like him. I don't like the way he plays. I don't appreciate the nastiness that he brings to that side of the game. He's saucy. I'll give him that. He sauced up Thomas Partey in the second half. That was nice where he had the mag and just blew by him. I'll give him that, but you don't have to be so dirty in the back, dude.
He was going through the back quite a bit. And I think to me, that's just like a red flag. Like the referee just needs to take notice of that because it is kind of nasty. I am surprised he didn't get a yellow. I believe, did he end up with the yellow in the second half?
Let me check.
He did not. He did not end up with the yellow. Nunes did, who also went through the back of Saka at one point and we did not get a foul called for that. But yeah, I'm with you. I know you've had a thing against Diaz. I think you've seen this in the past. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's not much to worry about him in the future. If I know that Thomas Partey can shut him down and get him subbed off after 60 minutes, I feel pretty good with a Jurgen Timber or a Benny Blanco out there. So I guess we'll see them at Anfield. Let's get into the second half, man. No changes from Arsenal to start the half. I think I was okay with that. Did you feel otherwise?
No, I think we had the upper hand in the first half. We played really well. I figured we'd kind of go out and do the same thing. It was an open game at that point, so I figured, hey, eventually we'll probably switch out wingers. Outside back, I assumed one of them was going to come off. Ben White, who just, second game back from injury. And then you got Timber, who just came back from injury. Saka obviously should be coming off at some point. That was my assumption. But at the time, it was good. And then the big man goes down. Gabriel hit the deck, and it was kind of interesting. We were having to put on Kiwior. We changed the entire lineup so Kiwior didn't have to play, right? Ben White into center back, Partey at right back, putting in someone that just came back from injury at left back so Kiwior didn't start this game. Lo and behold, guess who has to come back and play at center back for us for 35 minutes? Mr. Kiwior. So at that point, how are you feeling? Things changed at that point, in my opinion.
Absolutely, things changed, dude. Once Big Gabby went down, I was so sad to begin with, and then I hope it's not serious. I'll be honest with you. I really hope it's not serious. But Kiwior comes on, and I thought he did all right. I totally hear you. I was in the camp that after the mistake against Bournemouth, I thought we were not going to see him for a while. This was, of course, a forced change. We don't have our other center back either. So the manager had really no other options, it seemed. But you could tell the 20 minutes after that, dude, I thought we were lost. I really, really thought we were lost. To me, it looked like we were playing with 10 men for a little bit in that second half. And I was just confused by it, honestly.
I agree with that sentiment, and I don't think, just to kind of preface this again, this wasn't on Kiwior. Like, the change putting him in doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're lost because he's the one doing anything. It's just like, as a team collectively, maybe Gabriel's that big of a piece, I'm not sure, but like once Kiwior comes in, the midfield seemed to be losing it. We're obviously playing now on our back foot. We're playing much deeper. We're not having as many transition opportunities, and when we are having transition opportunities, nothing's coming of it, and we're like losing the ball out wide before we're even like entering their box, which was disappointing. But the Kiwior thing, he comes on, you're right, 15, 20 minutes after the fact, we no longer have the upper hand. It's a much more even game, and if anything, Liverpool's now on their front foot coming at us. What is your thought at that point? Subs, right? My mind's at subs.
Definitely. I think this game kind of comes down to the manager's game management a little bit, dude, because I put Kiwior aside, and we'll get to the goal, of course, but Gabriel Martinelli, I am exhausted from watching, dude. I feel like I'm the one running around. I just can't with it, dude. The number of times that he lost the ball, the number of times that I just felt like, what? Can I just get someone else out there? Please just get someone else out there. I don't care. Put Louis Skelly out there. I don't care, dude. But this man needed to come off.
Ooh, sticks. Sticks. Me and Keon are talking throughout this game. You know, we text, and that was something that we hit pretty early on, especially in the second half. And what I had just said, we're getting transition opportunities, but they're not coming off. They were mostly coming down Martinelli's side. A lot of those were coming down his side, and for whatever reason, he's losing the ball repeatedly. Konate has his number, bro. He almost looks like he was afraid of Konate at certain points. They're going shoulder to shoulder, and Martinelli was pulling out. And that is something I am surprised to see, because he's not that kind of dude. He's feisty. He's usually the one to get in. Konate comes across. He does not want that smoke. Had Trent's number all day, but as soon as Konate comes over, he doesn't want the smoke. I think his performance, it's so funny how we're seeing this as fans, like you're just watching the game, this dude's losing the ball. And then how does the goal come about? Transition on Martinelli's feet that he loses the ball for whatever reason. Didn't need to lose that at all. Transitions into a goal against us. And then when we're talking about the 20 minutes, 30 minutes, when we're having a tough period, that'd been a great opportunity to sub, right? And I see, in my eyes, that would have been a player to sub. One side of the ticket's going to say A, but he's the one getting us to transitions. He had a good game. And I like that. I think he does a lot of good things. But when you're losing the ball like that against this team, when we're not looking great, to me, it was like written on the wall. And then the sub came after the goal. So how about that?
Yeah, and I mean, here's another point to consider. Like, Liverpool are chasing the game. It's 2-1. We just had our center back go down in the 55th minute. We're obviously under the cosh. And what do? They press on, dude. In the 63rd minute, they made 3 changes. So when I see another team make 3 changes before the 65th minute, I'm thinking, where are our unforced subs? Like, there has to be one that gets made before the 65th minute. Surely, dude. They brought on Sabzi, they brought on Tsimikas, and they brought on Gakpo. And I thought immediately those 3 players were making a difference. Gakpo against Partey was a little shaky. Tsimikas getting the overlap. It's a fresh player against Saka now. And then Sabzi in the middle. You said we lost the midfield in the second half a little bit, and I agree with you. And I think it goes down to that we didn't react. We just weren't reacting, and that's a problem, dude.
I said this last year, and I had this thought after the game when we're thinking about what we're going to talk about here. A thing I said about some of our substitution tactics is we are very reactive and we're not proactive. Okay. That is a proactive move by Liverpool, putting on 3 attacking players because of what happened, right? We are the ones taking the game to them now. That should have been the moment that Arteta's like, hey, I need to react to these subs and be proactive before something bad happens. It did not happen. And then once they score, now I'm going to react with subs? Like, that to me is like getting it very twisted. It doesn't make sense in my mind. And then after the fact, after the goals happening, I want to say me and you are probably on the same page of like, this guy's losing the ball a lot. This isn't looking good. We need to do something about it. And then making the change after the goal happened, like that's not very brave in my opinion. Like that's I think the manager got that wrong, straight up.
Yeah, and it's okay to discuss the manager. We're not out here saying Arteta out, but I think there's questions to be asked about these things, because we have to see this side of his management improve. We really do, dude. We can't be in a cup final tomorrow and not reacting to the other team. It's not good enough. And when they made those 3 subs, I mean, Gakpo, big name, Sabzi, big name, and we've talked about Liverpool's squad depth, especially in attackers, and I was like, they're bringing on some good players, and then I remembered we also have some good players on the bench. They're like, I know Gabriel Jesus has had his troubles lately, but Gabriel Jesus can play 30 minutes against Liverpool at home, dude.
Yes, yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, I agree. I was so surprised we weren't making subs, and I'm sitting here watching it. Like, when that goal went in, man, I was sick. I'll be honest, I was absolutely sick. To me, that's such a preventative thing. We should have prevented that by making changes. It just kind of blew my mind that we're waiting. It's the 81st minute, and the changes we had made were Kiwior for an injury, and Urian Timber. I think 5 minutes before the goal, Timber went down, and we put in Lewis Skelly, who had a great performance. All right, I shout out to the kid, but those are our 2 changes are because of injuries. No proactive substitutions were made. So I'm just very disappointed in that.
Yeah, and I mean it's more than just having unforced substitutions in the game. We've kind of noticed this trend with the manager in the past with just his starting lines, right? Where he's been forced into making a change to the starting lineup for someone else to shine. So we just have to get out of this forced change habit, and I'm sure we will. It's still so early in the season, dude. This was like the 9th game of the season. But let's talk about that second goal a little bit, because Kiwior was giving me Mustafi flashbacks, dude, when I watched that goal back. After the game, I was thinking Kiwior did all right today. I thought he did all right today. And then I watched the goal back, and I was like, Kiwi, dude, I can't with the PTSD, dude.
He didn't have a bad game, and it is a shame that, like, this one moment, right, is what you reflect on, but that's the level of the team you're playing against. It's the one moment. Well, Steven, it was the same thing last weekend, right? He had the one bad moment against Bournemouth. He was good the rest of the time that he was playing against Bournemouth, but he had that one bad moment, and it is all it takes, dude. And he's just not up to the standards, and I'll stand by that, dude. I will stand. I know he's your unsung hero, but I will stand by that. I'm with you. He was put in a spin cycle today. Like, on that goal, put in a spin cycle when you play Mustafi-esque. Yeah, like, he was lost. Like, when that ball went by him, and I'm sure he's looking back, he's running back. He's like, damn, like, I just messed up big time. And I still will say, us losing the ball the way we did on that goal is just, in my opinion, can't happen. It was just a very silly way to lose the ball, to then get transitioned on, and then Kiwior in the spin cycle. After that, that's all she wrote, right? It was in the back of the net. Yeah, and after that, even with the subs that we made, I was thinking, just get a point today. At this point, like, I'll be okay with it, because I was also reflecting, like, around the 85th minute or so, I was thinking, there's 2 17-year-olds against Liverpool's best, dude. This is Arsenal heritage. In that moment, I felt a lot of pride, actually. I thought Winery had good few moments, dude. He had a couple of good defensive plays that I appreciated. And then Miles Lewis Skelly, dude. He doesn't really get the spotlight that Ethan does. I think the goals and just being an attacking young player coming through kind of overshadow how good Miles Lewis Skelly is, dude. I've been very impressed with him. I think he's going to be getting some minutes here coming up. I do think they're going to be getting some minutes. They both look comfortable. I'm very surprised at, like, how confident they look on the ball. Both of them have been able to get out of moments where it's tight, like stuff where we're like, oh, holding my breath, like, oh no, he's not doing that, is he? Yes, he is, and it's fine. Like, he's getting out of the spot. Take some balls, man. So both of those dudes, Like, shout out.
Dude, the one where he was under pressure by 3 of them on top of the 18 and he split them to Declan Rice. Oh, I was like, Miles Lewis Scally, dude. I'm on board, bro. Choo choo.
that takes some balls, because if it doesn't come off, I mean, you're just a kid. You're gonna hear it, but it did come off. So to me, I'm confident in you. I'm feeling good about it. So I hope going forward, he's now gonna be in the rotation. Zinchenko was on the bench, and guess who didn't come on? Zinchenko. Chose him instead. I think he needs to get rewarded for that.
Yeah, and what does it mean, dude? You said earlier that we basically changed our entire starting lineup so Kiwior wouldn't play, and it looked like going into the game, the manager had no intention of playing Zinchenko today.
He did not. I don't think he's played a game for us this season, has he? Zinchenko? I don't think he's played a game yet.
I think
did he early on?
I thought he did the first couple of games, because then he had a calf injury.
Okay. Well, even if that's the case, I'm checking. You're right. So I have one. I guess he does have one appearance.
I think the very first game of the season he played.
Yeah. But he's come back and he's on the bench. He hasn't got any time yet. So if this is the way you're going to go about things, like an older player, younger player, you think the standard is, to me, Lewis Kelly is going to look more like the players we're putting out there. Calafiori, Timber. He fits more of that mold than Zinchenko does. Zinchenko's a very different player. So if you're trying to fit the mold of where the team's going, Lewis Kelly is the choice.
Yeah, no, I think that's well put. And, you know, the team's just the evolution continues. That's football, man. So we'll see what happens in the January window. I'm inclined to say let's send Kiwior to Italy, dude. He's been trying to go there for 2 years. I think in January let's get that deal over the line, Edu.
I do think he's serviceable. But obviously we've seen moments, 2 games in a row, where it can go wrong.
Yeah. All right. Let's try to wrap up the game here. In that second half, near the end, we scored, right? But the referee had already called a foul for a header that we won, top of the 18. I guess it's all fair. With the officiating that we got, with the time that it takes for making a VAR decision, I'm not shocked at all that he had already called the whistle, you know?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what exactly he blew the whistle on, because I don't know. So there's a challenge with Kiwior going up. Sabaslai's there, who doesn't jump for the header. Kiwior's knee doesn't go into his back. I mean, he kind of tries to avoid him, I think. Ends up flipping himself, which Szoboszlai, I don't know, understand how that's a foul. He just stood there. Then you have Kai going up against Konate. I think he might have elbowed him. I'm not sure. Haven't got a good angle. And then after, I guess at that point is when he blew the whistle. So it wasn't even like I know people are saying it was a disallowed goal. It wasn't even a goal because he blew the whistle before, right? To me, I would imagine letting the game play. I haven't seen anything yet to indicate to me that there was a foul. Maybe there was, and maybe we'll get different angles. But as of right now, I did not see a foul.
Yeah, and I mean, all of it is still fresh, dude. But if I were to kind of just reflect on the game holistically, and that second half even, I don't really remember David Raya having to make a big save.
I think there was Alexis McAllister header was probably their best attempt on goal that he actually had to save.
Yeah, that was even in the first half. That was like right at the end of the first half, yeah.
Yep. The entire game, they really weren't creating much, which is why that goal hurt a lot.
Yeah. No, it did, man. All right. Well, anything else you want to chat about for the game?
I think you gave a shout out to Trossard. I thought he played really well today. I wanted to give him some love. The back line, Ben White at center back, give that dude a shout out. Then he played the ball out to Saka, forgot the assist. Shout out Ben White, center back. That's new role. Obviously hasn't played there in a few years. Did excellent. Timber at left back coming back. Excellent. Thomas Partey. I'm telling you, I did not expect that. Let that man cook out there. He's putting in tackles. Luis Diaz was subbed, okay? He was not getting the best of this dude, which is crazy. So I think I want to give love to everybody. It was a great performance. It is sad. Saka came out after the game and talked to some of the dudes on NBC, and you could tell he was very disappointed. And they had Van Dijk come out, and I think he's feeling okay about the result. Saka's disappointed, and they made note of that. And it's like, yeah, obviously he's disappointed because we had the better run of the game. And there's definitely a feeling around that we should have won it, right? We should have come out with the 3 points, and we dropped it. That's been us this season, though, right? Decisions don't seem to be going our way. The results we're not getting things over the line. The red cards obviously have been hurting us. So there's a lot not going our way. And to only have lost 1 game so far, I mean, we're still in it, right? You said 5 points, I think, at the beginning.
Yeah.
5 points down. I'm still confident in the squad. We're still looking really good.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, even before this game, right? We played Shakhtar. Obviously, we didn't really have a podcast after that. But even in Europe, we still haven't been scored on in the Champions League. So the team is very good. It's still early days. I was actually thinking about this. There's been a lot of conversations around our performances, which I thought the first half of this Liverpool game was probably top 3 performances that we've had this season so far. Like the PSG game, I really enjoyed. I think that's still our best performance. That's my benchmark right now. But in the Prem, this felt good. But I was also thinking, we're just about to hit 10 games, and some of these games are gonna be tough, dude. There's teams who are not gonna really come out of their shell. I think back to last season when after the new year, we were sort of smashing teams like 5-0, 6-0. That's because teams are now coming out to play. So that also makes an impact on our performances. So I don't think we should sort of get ahead of our skis here. And dude, some tough games are out of the way, man. Some real tough games are out of the way. Of course, the league is very competitive. Chelsea have looked pretty good. I think they're up next. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We have obviously already played 2 of the top dogs. And I would venture to say we felt like we had the upper hand on both of them. I do. It just obviously just didn't go our way in either instance, but maybe that's the way to feel about it. We're there. We can turn over if we need to, and maybe, just maybe, second half of the season, these next few run of games, some of those things go our way, and we get the results. And that's, talk about the margins. These are the margins.
Absolutely, dude. And I'm sorry, I just had to fact check myself. We play Newcastle next in the league, and then after that is Chelsea, who those teams were playing earlier this morning too. There were some interesting results around the league this weekend. Did you catch any other games?
I caught the end of that West Ham United game, man. Woo! I was cracking up. So funny. So it was 1-1, then that penalty got called, and Bowen put it away, and it was so funny. Like the United players complaining, and it's like, this is justice, man. This is justice. You guys have come on the right side of things. How many times? Like, this is just justice.
I didn't watch that game, but I did see the whole time they just kept going on about Dallo and the miss that he had leading up to our game.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it, but I felt really, I just said that it's early days in the season, but I am doubling down on my prediction that Manchester United will not finish above 6th place. I promise you that.
14th. That's tough, man. It's a tough one. And then Tottenham lost this morning too. That's funny. Crystal Palace, huh?
Dude, Eddie's benched. I don't know if you saw this or not.
I did.
I was so surprised. And Mateta, to his credit, I mean, he scored. He put that goal in. So I think Eddie's kind of lost a starting position there at Crystal Palace 9 games in. But we'll see. That could be early days. I did see... I'm so torn on this one, Steven, because Emil Smith-Rowe cannot stop contributing to goals since the kid has left the club, dude. And the assist over the weekend, it was vintage ESR, dude. It was poetry in motion, as they say.
I missed it. I haven't seen the highlight yet. I gotta pull that up. So I just pulled him up. He has 2 goals and 2 assists this season so far. He's got 4 goals and assists, and I think he's played 8 games, maybe 9. That's a good turnout for him. We were talking earlier this week, and it was like the thought of him, or I guess after the goal, you had texted me. It's like, do you actually think he'd be playing in our squad right now, or would he still be sitting on the bench looking for minutes?
Dude, I mean, some of these things still remain a mystery, right? I had a buddy today texting me, and like, why isn't Ethan Nwaneri starting? I was like, dude, he didn't start against Bournemouth or Southampton. You think he's going to start against Liverpool? Like, what are you talking about, dude? So it's like the same kind of situation with Smith Rowe. Would he even get in? I don't think so, Steven. I don't think so. I did see over the weekend that Man City, they are getting away with it, though. I know they're sitting top of the league, but they beat Southampton 1-0 with a 5th-minute goal, dude. I mean, have you seen the one video going around of Bernardo Silva getting tackled and then Southampton gets a yellow card?
Yeah. Oh, of course. I've seen that. What you gonna do, man? What you gonna do?
I mean, this is just transparency, so I have to share it. You know, if the listeners haven't seen it, I mean, go on, look at that, dude, because that was a clean tackle, bro. I don't know what's happening out here in this league, bro. I need some answers.
No, that's wild. I think to wrap up today, I do think you hit a good note, and I want to ask you that question of, do you think Nwaneri, Lewis Skelly haven't been really playing? I feel like every time they come on, they make an impact. Do you see them starting here soon?
It all comes down to the injuries. I don't think Ethan Nwaneri is starting soon. I mean, we have a domestic cup game coming up against Preston, I think midweek. So maybe he'll get some. Maybe he'll start in that game. That wouldn't surprise. But in the league, I can't see him starting in the league, dude. And the manager has. I mean, he's got a big headache, man. I don't know the injury status of everyone, but like TP5 is not coming off the pitch right now. That's a problem, dude. It's a good problem to have, but it's a problem, dude.
It is a problem. I want to say they're not going to start, but like, in my opinion, they should be getting minutes. They need to get minutes. I think they're impactful. They need to be getting minutes. You mentioned the Southampton game. And who was the other one? Southampton and Bournemouth. They didn't get any minutes in either of them. I was very surprised. Like, that seems like it was catered to them, right? Catered to them in those moments. And we had that really defensive midfield 3 against Bournemouth. Like, that was a perfect game for Nwaneri to start getting some real contribution of minutes. So I'm a little surprised. I'm interested to see what happens. You're right with these injuries, bro. Big Gab, yikes. That one is tough. I'm a little worried about that one.
I am too. For all the talk about how great William Saliba is, maybe it's just been overlooked. Gabriel's leadership and presence is maybe more important than the Rolls-Royce movements that we see on the pitch. Because today, I'm telling you, dude, after he went down, we looked like we had no idea what to do. We had no leadership out of the back. And they were saying how, like, oh, Ben White is the senior in the back line now. It's like, relax, dude. Relax.
We'll see what happens. See if Timber, it's really up to Timber, I think. Yeah, because he goes down injured as well. We'll see what that is. Hoping for the best. But the Big Gabby one really worries me. You got Saliba back. You got Ben White. You got Timber. 3 options for center back. I'm going to rule out Kiwior from that conversation right now. And then at left back, I'll throw Kiwior into the left back conversation because I'd rather him be playing left back than left center back, personally.
Yeah, but I mean, to your point that these kids should be playing, I rate Miles Lewis Skelly above Kiwior at this moment in time. I really do, dude.
I haven't seen anything to make me think otherwise. I'm telling you, they look comfortable on the ball. And that's something I don't think Kiwior is as comfortable. Like, Lewis Skelly looks like he's somebody that is a midfielder that can play at left back, right? That's like the impression that he gives me. So I am hoping they get minutes. I mean, let's keep moving, right? These injuries are stacking up. And if they're going to stack up, let's use our depth.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll see. I still have no idea about the timeline for Martin Odegaard, for example. It would be nice to have him back. I wouldn't mind that.
Oh.
So I definitely think the injuries are starting to pile up, man. And I think we've coped. Hopefully, I mean, the next couple of games in the league, like I said, are Newcastle and Chelsea. They can go either way, dude. We have to be kind of careful in these games too, because that's definitely two teams where I don't want to see us lose, but I can see us having an off day and losing one of those games, dude.
That's true, but I think both teams can get the upper hand on you. As of right now, I'm still confident. Like the performance we put in today, how many teams could have withered that first half? Like, not many. I think there's two. There's basically two, and that's the level of performance we can have. I mean, that first half we could have had a couple goals. It just didn't go our way. So if we can keep this up, I am still very confident in us going with Newcastle and Chelsea.
Yeah, I am too, dude. I remain confident in our chances of delivering a trophy this season. So I think we should leave this one there, and thank everyone for spending time with us, for tuning in, for doing all the things that you do that we appreciate, and enjoy your week, enjoy the midweek match, and we'll probably see you after the Newcastle game.
Be easy.